Are you tired of doing a lot of exercises and you don't even know what muscles they're working? Today's scripture is about leaning on the Lord and His strength to endure anything that we face. Let's look at what the Bible says in Philippians 4 and 13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. Today we're going to talk about designing your own weightlifting program. And if you'll recall, in my last video, it was called Our Weight Training Basics. And I broke down a lot of the things that you need to consider when trying to design your own weightlifting program. So today we're going to go into that a little bit more detail and give you an idea of things to look at, consider, and then once you get your structure in place, see where you need to go and how to get further. We need to figure out what our goals are. Do we want to lose weight? Do we want to gain muscle mass? And effectively, you could actually be wanting to gain some weight. Are you wanting to get your heart stronger? Get trained for more endurance, or just whatever your goals are. We need to figure out what we want to do. And then after you look at that, you want to look at how many days can you seriously apply to achieving this goal, because this is going to determine the time frame that you will have. Can you work out every single day? And then is that only going to be a half an hour? Or maybe you can work out for an hour 3 or 4 days a week. Once you know how many times a week you can work out and what time frame, whether it's a 30-minute, 45-minute, 60-minute time slot, or maybe you can, work up to 2 hours in the gym, maybe only 1 or 2 days a week. Once you get that information in place, it's going to give you a better idea of, okay, here's what I have. Now let's figure out the best way to achieve my goal. Now, once you have an idea of how many days that you're going to work out, that is going to determine what types of moves you can do and or how many, different exercises you'll be able to perform based on the sets and the reps that you want to be able to include. So typically, on average, most exercises you want to perform 3 sets. 6 to 12 reps is about the average of what you want to perform in each set. I've seen as low as 5, and typically the lower the reps are, the higher your weight load is going to be, or up to say 12 and even maybe 15 reps. And you may want to go down a little bit in weight when you're doing that higher rep. And I've got a couple studies that I looked at that I will link in the description box below. But I know the first one that I looked at, they said on average when you do the heavy load resistance training, it's about 98% more effective of actually building muscle. So, and that study was called, where did it go? Resistance Training Load Effects on Muscle Hypertrophy and Strength Gain. So, of course, that's kind of what I was looking at is, what are the exercises that we want to do to actually gain strength? That is my biggest focus, and that's, I think, what this channel, the focus is going to be more on strength gains. The other study that I looked at is called The Effect of Weekly Set Volume on Strength Gain. So the volume in that is not only the actual weight of those weights that you're lifting, but volume in turn also includes like how many sets and reps, how many times that muscle is hit throughout the week. And that second study, it said that actually, and I've heard this before, I typically always did the bro split, which is basically just working one muscle group a day, hitting all of your full body workout once a week, but only hitting those muscles once a week. I would try to lift as heavy as I could, thinking that my gains would be okay. You would have definitely a sufficient time, a rest period in between to work out those muscles, because a day was assigned a body part, so to speak. But this study actually said that if you want to specifically gain muscle and increase muscle mass, your best bet is to work out twice a week. So once you get all of that in place, if you have a shorter time frame to work out, then I personally would say to work on those compound movements. Think the squats, deadlifts, bench press, overhead press, the barbell rows. All of those compound movements, again, because they include several muscles and joints at one time, you are getting not necessarily a full body workout, but you're hitting a lot of muscles at one time. So you may only have to do 5 or 6 exercises versus if you've got more time to work out throughout the gym each week, you can do like one compound movement. So say you wanted to focus on squats for your legs and it touches a little bit of the glutes. If you've got more time, then you could add in a leg extension, or you could get on the leg press and do a few sets and reps of each of those exercises as well. The compound movements are theoretically the best to build like overall mass in those muscles. And then when you add those isolated movements, even a little bit of that leg press or definitely that leg extension is more of an isolated movement, then you're going to just continue to define that muscle, but it may not hit, you're definitely not going to hit your glutes in that leg extension because it's just isolating on the top of your thigh. So it's good to have a combination of both, I think, if you can. And then you can maybe do like a upper body and lower body split, and then you could actually do that like 2 times a week. So upper body, you could do just a couple compound movements for, say, your chest, your shoulders, your back, then your arms, your biceps and triceps, and then the lower obviously is going to be leg day. You want to hit those quads, those hamstrings, you want to hit your calves and the glutes. So once you've got your workout in place, you want to again focus on 3 sets and go for average 6 to 12 reps for each set. Every exercise you do, you want to think about your form. It is so very important, and you want to make sure that you are performing that movement within that full range of motion. You want to do slow and controlled movements on the eccentric and the concentric. It doesn't have to be that slow, but at least be steady and don't, fly up real hard on your bicep curl and then go down like a 4 count. You want to just go up maybe a count of 2 and down a count of 2. And the biggest thing to focus on is your form. You want to keep your torso in alignment and, keep your back engaged at all times, and, even keep those abs engaged, and that will help just strengthen that torso and keep it from moving. And think about moving in like, your joints for that bicep curl. You don't want to pull your arm up as you're doing it. I mean, that arm should be straight down. And really, I always think about like my elbow kind of being attached to my side, and it just, it shouldn't really move, and you're going to hinge at that elbow, and that's pretty much all that you're going to do for that bicep curl. And when you're completing these reps, you want to go 3 sets. So typically your first 2 sets, if you're going, say, 12 reps is what you're wanting to aim for, you should be able to get those 12 reps. Usually the first set, you should definitely be able to get them. You need to use a weight that's comfortable enough that you're going to get that full set in the proper form. So you should get that full set in. Typically the second, you may get up to the 12 reps that second time, and that third time you may or may not be able to get that full set in. When they talk about training to failure, you usually want to go within 2 to 3 reps of failure. You don't want to train all the way to failure on every single exercise. Sometimes you can leave that for maybe that last set, but typically failure is, when you're trying to lift that weight for the last time, I mean, you really can't get it up. I know I've been accused of 1, 2, 3, oh, I'm done, I can't do anymore. It's like, no, 1, 2, I can't get that third one in. So think about that. If you're able to perform 12, or even if you go up to 15, if you're able to perform 3 sets of 15 and you can go more after the 15th on the last one, you definitely need to increase in weight. I know that there's still some controversy, and maybe it's not even controversy. I know some people will do, say, 3 sets of the same weight. When I was working out before, I actually would do a very easy weight, and that was like maybe 15 reps is what I would do there. And then I would go up a little bit in weight on my second set. So the easy one is usually like your warm up. And then the second, I'd maybe only do 10 reps, and that would be a little harder, but I should still be able to keep my form good with that. And then I would actually increase a third time on my third set, but I was never going to get those 15 reps out on that one. I'm still working with my sets and reps now and trying different things to see where am I getting the best gains. So I think you just want to stay with something for a couple weeks. If you are not making any gains at all, then you may want to reevaluate and try something else. So if you're staying at the same weight for all 3 sets, maybe do that for about a month and kind of see where you're going and how you're increasing. And if you don't increase, then maybe go ahead and do a light, medium, and heavy set and see if that kind of picks up the muscle building for you there. Because honestly, everybody is different. It just depends on, what works for you. So you want to be open-minded and try a few things. So as we're on this journey together and just trying to figure out what the best way to perform our workouts are, test different ways, see what works for you, and then track your progress. And then you can always make adjustments, you can always tweak these things, because you're not married to any of these programs. And you can do a program for 8-10 weeks, and then maybe you get bored. So then you think of, well, what other things can I incorporate, and maybe put a different isolation work or movement in your workout and take one out, and then see what kind of gains you earn from that. So it's just a matter of learning your body, seeing what you respond to, seeing what feels good, what definitely works in your time constraints, because if you don't have time to do the workout, then you're not going to do it. So that is what I am doing myself. I hope that's what you guys are doing. So let me know in the comments below how your workouts are going. So my next video is going to be weightlifting progress, tracking your gains. So tune in next time so that you can get more information on that. So the comment question below is, do you have any questions about getting your workout routine started? So let me know and let's get the conversation started. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and let me know that you care in the comments below. If you know somebody that would appreciate this type of content, please share my video with them. And also, please subscribe if you haven't already. And until then, we'll see you next time.